So they have a habit of doing it late. But as they join in, we will have more and more questions. We are also live on the YouTube, so we will be able to see a lot of people on the YouTube as well. Guys, the format of this entire session, why we brought the industry expert, is very, very simple, that all of you guys can actually learn more and grow more. And you can actually grow faster in your career. So I have pasted the form link. Please ask your question only through the form, no chat messages. Okay, Raj will be able to answer everything. I have to moderate the entire session, so make sure that you guys are asking your questions only in the form and not on the chat box. Otherwise it is very difficult to manage you guys on the chat box. Okay, so you can shoot your questions. Meanwhile, I will just allow Raj to maybe give a couple of things from his experience. What is his thought process? Especially Raj, everybody has one question in common in the entire community, that what is next after COVID? The COVID has actually created so much of chaos. What is next after COVID that the corporate professional can expect in this new world? That is what they want to know. You can unmute yourself, Raj. Let me give you the unmute button. Now you can. Yes.
Right. So at the outset in this post-COVID situation, don't give your power of unmute to Rakesh. So take charge of it. But when I look at it, Rakesh, from a post-COVID scenario, I think when we look at it, this social mobility, cloud analytics, alongside artificial intelligence, machine learning, were already taking a center stage. And in that context, we were already talking about man to machine ratio instead of span of control. We were talking about, outcome-based models rather than, time and material-based billing. So all those things were already happening pre-COVID also.
Absolutely.
For the last 4-5 years, there was a huge acceleration. What COVID has done, it has created a situation where digital is no longer a luxury. It has been commoditized. So you need to be in it. So education industry, learning industry is one such example. So if you look at your teachers community, nobody thought that 80% of the teachers will be teaching, through online education. They were not used to it. They were not trained for it. While EdTech was making inroads for the last, 3-4 years. So in my view, now post-COVID scenario, they would achieve what they would have achieved in 10 years in next 1 year itself. So whether you look at student community, if you look at teachers community, if you look at, the new government policy also will take into account some of those digital shifts. So there is a major shift that I see in education and learning industry. That is one. Second, gig is going to take a center stage. So its jobs are not only about, full-time contract or 9-to-5 employment. So gig economy is going to skyrocket, in my view. And in developing economies, gig is regulations around gig are still at a nascent stage. So I expect government across the world, in particular developing world, will take cognizance of this and frame regulations and governance around gig, which would be of great advantage to people who are, single person entrepreneur, or maybe small scale enterprises. So it's going to be a huge advantage to them, because they would be in a position to offer, McKinsey's or Japanese quality as Chinese price. So this is, so for some of the small and medium scale industries to engage some of these, blue chip multinationals and pay the price that they command is going to be difficult, and that's where the gig worker come into play. So gig is going to be a major shift. Future of work and workplaces are also going to undergo a major shift. So there are questions, because if you look at workplaces, they were built to collaborate, enhance engagement, uh, build camaraderie. Now people are saying keep distance. So the office design itself is coming into question, the cubicle that we have. So will office get redesigned? Answer is yes. But there are also voices which are asking, do we need offices, particularly in the service industry? So if you look at work from home, which used to be a luxury and a competitive advantage for organizations, is now commoditized. If you don't have it, then you have a problem, right? So some of those shifts are happening. So as I said, three key areas that I have talked about: future of work and future of workplaces, shift in education and learning industry, and gig economy skyrocketing. So these are few of my initial thoughts about the post-COVID, work scenario.
Sure. Thank you very much, Raj. I think when we talk in our master classes, we generally touch upon this thing, and the COVID has become a kind of a highlight topic for all of us. While the gig economy
So Rakesh, there is some problem seems
is
to be with your
growing
connection.
day by
So
day. Is it?
yeah, it's
Can you hear
breaking.
me now?
Voice is breaking in between.
Yeah, I think your network is showing less, Raj. I
Mine?
think, but anyways, yeah, your network connection is a little bit low. But
Okay.
anyways, let's.
Let me see, because I have put this on Bluetooth, and let me close all other apps. Okay. Now I can.
Yeah. Yes. Uh, so yes, I'm checking my network as well. And the gig economy, when we talk about gig economy and the workplace change as well, and I also understand the client expectation now of the work will also change, given that the the flexibility of options has increased, right? And do we also feel that in terms of that will uh, result into the less profitability or the less number of projects for the companies, and it also means that we as companies are getting into a less number of manpower in future?
I think it's not about less, because there are certain types of jobs which will go away. So machine and man will coexist. So we over a period of time we should learn to coexist with the robots. Chatbots is already there. So it is imperative that we learn to coexist with the robots, chatbots, and other changes that are happening uh, in the industry. Now, if you look at it, different types of jobs have come up, and those new types of job will accelerate the employment.
Raj,
So, you saying something?
yeah, Raj, we were actually losing your voice in between.
Should I log in from my mobile? Because uh, if we are losing it, you should not be, because I'm taking it from the Bluetooth. So I can log in from my mobile,
Yeah, that would also work. That's not a problem.
because that would be better. Just give me a second. Let me do it right away.
Sure.
Your name start with two A's. So yes. So join video meeting. I'm just clicking on that. Okay, I need to put my name here. Now am I think I can see myself on mobile. So I'll exit out of it.
I think it is. Yeah. Raj, can you hear us? You're still not joined the audio, I think.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
We can hear you now. Come. Perfect.
Great. Great. Great.
Yes, please.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was asking because of this gig economy, in terms of the jobs that are there, uh, will there be any implications on the jobs that we will have? Because the future demand will be from the client side as well, will be more of a flexibility, right? And that flexibility will also include, let's say, some of the gig work, which was, I mean, till this point was not a part of the mainstream. Yeah, the company
Right.
used to have some gig economy, but the companies were not utilizing the gig economy so extensively. And now company has a choice, given the client is also okay for that, they can also have that choices. So will we have any impact or implications on the number of people who used to be, let's say, 1,000 people in a factory, now will become, let's say, shrink to around 800, 700 people, and rest being worked out by the gig economy because that becomes more cost effective in future?
I think my views on this is as follows. Looking at the gig economy, there would be any job that is rule-based job where logic is there will go to bots, robots, or machine learning. While there would be reduction in number, however, at the same time, different types of job would emerge in the market. So they may not be the similar job, but there would be a different type of job. Like for example, when you look at it, whole this new generation talking about food blogging. We never thought of it. If you go back, few years back, we never thought that food delivery will happen the way it is happening with now. So 10 years back, we would not have thought of it. We never thought we will, go through Uber and Ola, and some of us would stop buying new cars or replacing them. So I think new jobs will start emerging. If you see in the digital space, so much of growth is happening. So digital is one area which is going to grow multifold. Now, similarly, IT and ITS enabled services are going to grow because demand across the world for digitalization is only going to increase, and technology is going to be at the center of it. So we need to align ourselves with the changing dynamics in the business 4.0 scenario. So if we think whatever we have learned in the historical past will stand us steady for future also, then we are in a fool's paradise, in my view. As Toffler also says that illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot uh, unlearn, learn, and relearn. So by the time you get your qualification, the stuff that you have studied may be obsolete, or maybe you need to reinforce and optimize. So I don't think because of this situation, jobs will be less. It's a matter of time wherein few sectors like aviation, hospitality, and hotel industry has, you know, come under huge stress. But there are other sectors which are looking up now. And you have seen green shoots with regard to some of the industry manufacturing sectors also slowly and steadily across the world.
Yes, yes, yes. So absolutely, and we when we talk about this, it now brings into the question the one aspect of it, and a lot of question I see are in this fashion that while the gig economy is up, while the flexible working culture is going to be the norm of the day, while digital economy will be not only Hey, sorry guys, there seems to be a technology which is actually troubling me right now. But okay, let me be back and probably ask the same question which got interrupted. So, Raj, essentially what I was asking you is that when we are looking at the gig economy, we are looking at the flexible work and everything. Uh, are we looking at the skill upgrade? Because what we have recently experienced is that a lot of mid-level people got laid off, right? And fortunately or unfortunately, I am somebody who is serving that mid-level itself. So I'm just trying to understand that uh, what are the key areas that this level of the organization, which is actually making up between the bottom of the pyramid and top of the pyramid, what should they do differently now in the new world where they can actually not only survive, but more than survive, they can strive and take themselves to the next level?
In my view, this is nothing new. If you would have seen 3 4 years
Yeah.
back itself, the headlines in our own economic dailies, including economics times, the jobs were going away for middle management. So
Yeah.
wherever it was rule based, it was not encouraged. So we saw this coming in. Now with
Yeah.
flattening of the structure that we are talking about, uh, and I call it a death of pyramid. The pain will increase. Now those of us
Yes.
who still feel their job is, allocate the work and act as a funnel, you know, may not survive for long.
Yeah. They
However,
they
those
not
people,
survive. Absolutely.
huh, so those who change themselves with the time, understand what are the requirements of the young workforce. Because now when you see in your workforce, the generation who are born after 2000 has entered. Now they are very different.
Yes.
Their aspirations are different.
Absolutely.
Uh, their way of working is different. So what we looked at some point in time in 80s, 90s, or 2000, their aspirations are very different. And the way we respected people, they may not respect it just because of you being an authority. So our ability
Correct.
to command respect because of disposition rather position become critical. And for that, it becomes imperative that you are open to be coached by your juniors. And second, you needs to be hands-on. So those are the two things that I see. Command respect because of disposition rather than position, get hands-on, and understand this generation better if you want to thrive in the long term. And that's what I tried capturing in one of my fiction that I published few weeks back. That was about intriguing quest of love, wherein I kind of looked at the uh, young person from a LGBT scenario who is unsure about their sexual fluidity and how they undergo those challenges in the larger world to arrive at a decision what they arrive at or to get clarity about it. So the workforce is undergoing a major shift. The social context is shifting, right? So more people are individual now. Their stress level is high, their aspirations are high. So it's not like that we will like we would have seen our parents that they will deposit drop by drop, and after retirement they will think of xyz stuff. This generation wants to get everything by the age of 30. So I think that brings in the stress also. So how do we manage their expectation, both upward and downward, becomes critical for the success of managers, middle managers.
Correct. Correct. Excellent point. I think this is something all the mid-level people need to realize that what I put it in terms of the vitality and functionality. So if you remain only the functional person, I think you are going to get extinct like a dinosaur. And if you become a vital in all the all-round aspect of the company, that is when you get that role or the progress or the growth that you are looking for. So some interesting questions are come. I'm not picking up the questions which are role specific because it will not be possible for we to actually answer, but I'll pick up some of the things like, for example, what transferable skills that HR team is looking from the candidates who are applying for the job now. For example, most of the people who get laid off, which you said that it's not new, but let's say the person wants to move from an operation to a marketing or a sales or a business development. So what kind of transferable skills that you would look for as HR from, let's say, a 10 to 15 years of experienced person?
Right. So the question first is about transition. So transition within the same company or a new company.
So most of them, they are asking for the new company.
Right.
Transition
So
within the company,
I'll
definitely
not
it
advise
is.
them to cross
Yes.
functional movement uh,
Correct.
at this point in time. It's better to cross functionally move within the same organization,
Yes.
because then there is a lot of you have already built in your credibility, and your organization is far more in tune with your skill set, and they're ready to invest also. So when new company hires, they want to hire, let's say, for example, in marketing, they like to have somebody who has a 15 years of experience. Now, after 15 years of HR experience, I also apply for the same job. They may not consider my profile upfront. However, if I'm in the same company and I say I want to have a couple of years of cross-functional stint, I think the organization would be far more amenable to my idea, and they will put me into that job. And that's what I think I did when I was with GE. So I moved from operations to HR way back in 2000,
Wow.
and they said, we will, since you are good in operations, we will take you in HR shared services. And they took me, and after that they said, I don't think we'll be making you a HR leader. I said, I stand my chance of becoming a HR leader with existing company more than outside.
Yes.
So if you want to move, just make sure that you take that forward with your existing organization rather than with new organization, because they may
Excellent.
not be able to do justice to your experience because they have other
Absolutely.
choices as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another very interesting question coming up, and especially in this scenario where related to the performance management, couple of question I'm just trying to mix and match into the category where the people are saying that the performance management which happens where the HR involvement is very less, uh, despite having uh, the known issue of, let's say, the biases, okay, from the manager or let's say the super manager or somebody. And we see that how do we actually get into a neutral position where the employee is recognized for on his merit rather than having a good relationship with the bosses.
I think I wrote an article a few years back wherein I said death of performance management is imminent. HR, better wake up before we are kicked to do so. Now, when we talk about performance management system as such, uh, the problem starts right from the beginning. I'm not going into setup of a performance management system and what should it entail. But are we as a managers, rather than looking at upward and sideways or downward, are we setting smart objective? Are we providing that continuity of feedback, or we are just bottling it up like and then gargling it out after 1 year? So are we doing anything different? Are we providing feed forward? Is the question that I asked myself, because rather than looking at changing the whole world, I like to see from my own self. Am I changing it? Am I catching people doing right things? Am I creating the right goal setting? I am setting the right expectations which are measurable, which are realistic, and am I giving people feedback as in when I catch them doing not such a positive thing, or just holding it back? So am I taking charge of my people? Like I take this example of because I operate in a IT and ITS enabled services. So we promote people. People are promoted for their operating excellence.
Right.
So somebody is good, and then you make them in charge of 5 to 6 people, and they keep doing what made them successful, and that was individual brilliance, right? But are we imparting enough education to them to understand that individual brilliance is no longer their job? Their job is to lift others to get lifted. So we need to have a shift in mindset rather than feeling a biased, my boss is biased or my peer is biased or whatever. Are we doing our best? And those of us who are doing it, they are making the difference to those 5 6 leaders. So even within this group, if I ask somebody who is the leader that you remember made the difference to you, they may not have given best of the compensation or promotion to you, but you would remember them for the skill set that imparted to you, which was a transferable skill set, right?
Correct.
So maybe I had one of my boss, Vineet in G. He did not give me best of the promotion, but he helped me become a better human being, right? So a
Absolutely.
lot of credit goes to him for making me a good human being. So, and I got the least amount of increment and promotion under him way back in 1997 till 2000. But still, after 20 years, I'm saying he made a huge difference. So we need to start looking inward and then take charge of the the career of our people and make a difference there. This whining is not going to help. Okay, so maybe I'm a little more straight, as I've just talked about the GE, and it's just we need to stop whining and make that difference. And those people, middle managers who take it up, do it with a difference, will move up, and those who do not
Absolutely.
would be left behind, which is very clear
Yeah.
in the industry because competition is growing up.
And Raj, I think one of the question which is related to it is about the mindset which you said and beautifully said that you have to lift people to get lifted. And in that scenario, uh, I know that it has to be fundamentally come from top to bottom, correct? And we have seen that when we are in the flow of a regular operation, on a day-to-day operation, we miss out on this mindset part. So is it something that we should feel that it is a need of a future appraisal process, or maybe a need of a future grooming of the leaders as well, where we teach them this fundamental aspect of self leadership, and then uh, empowering and uplifting others, and then probably bring the best out of that.
Okay, I don't believe in this teaching philosophy because I find it
Okay.
difficult to manage even my children, you know. So, right? So they don't want to be taught.
Yes.
As if we start walking the talk, and we say what we do and do what we say, things will fall in place. So,
Wonderful.
and this mindset of this should flow top down is a flawed mindset in my view. It could start
Okay.
anywhere, because when flattening of structure we are talking, everybody is a leader. If
Correct.
you whether you are leading the career of 6 people or 7 people or 700 people, you tend to work with a group of 10 to 15 people only, whether you are a CXO or whether you are at a middle management or a slightly
Middle
higher
management.
management. You don't work
Correct.
with all 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000 people directly. So you tend to work with set of 20 to 25 people. Those set could be very different. For CXOs it could be other CXOs, but that may not go beyond
Correct.
15, 20. Similarly for you,
Absolutely.
you have your set of people. So it is imperative that we start looking at it from inside out perspective, rather than looking at top down something will happen. Because the question that I ask when I do talk to people, your manager is more interested in whose career, your or his own? And everybody says, of course, his own. And then my next question is, then who should take charge of our own career or your career? And then we need to take charge of it. We never know, some of the leaders that we look up today will be reporting to us tomorrow, and it doesn't mean the same people but the level.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. True.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that's my view about it.
Excellent. Sure. And when we are talking about this new scenarios or the flattening of the structure, will there also be any impact in terms of the compensation or the employee benefits which you foresee in the near future?
Yeah, I see Netflixization of compensation structure in times to come. So, uh, so we so if you bring in the requisite structure, we will align it with your desired, uh,
Role
interest, in
skills.
line with the law of the land. So
Okay. Wonderful.
Netflixization of compensation structuring will happen. So it'll not
Okay.
be same across. So you would see segmentation happening for young workforce who need more money in hands. You may see segmentation happening for the older workforce who may like to put in a lot more money in retirements. So you will see a lot of flexibility emerging while keeping alignment with the law of the land. And if you see that simplification is also happening from government side within India also, those wage code that has come in, has already been discussed or coming into play, will provide a lot more flexibility than what existed earlier. When you look at those statute of 1965, wage act, wage act, etc.
How many of you got it, guys? Your compensation is going to be on the Netflix model. If you have got it, just type in yes, at least Just type in yes if you have understood this. Okay. Now, I think one or two more question, Raj, that we have, which is more or less in line with the skill set. Okay. So that somebody with the 10 to 15 years of experience, and I think you have covered some aspect in the beginning of your talk, that what kind of skill set that the people in the various sectors should look into. I understand that every rule-based things will anyway get ruled out, correct? So anything which is of more meaningful, where which will require the human intervention, it will be more of a decision making or probably taking the insightful choices or something like that. So what kind of skills people should actually get into where they can grow their career on a constant sustainable basis? I think you must be receiving so many such questions from your own people as well.
I think I'll give you a model which has helped
Yeah.
me grow. So
Okay.
three things.
Please.
Number one, business acumen, and I will explain that. Second is change management ability, and the third is your domain expertise. Like for example, domain expertise for me is HR, and in the middle is your design principle, which we call values. Now, when I say business acumen, your ability to anticipate global trends, know the language of business, that is finance, P&L understanding, commercial savviness, pricing ability. So that is one aspect. Second is your change management ability, your ability to take all the stakeholders along. You know, whether you use Six Sigma, TQM, Deming principle, or any other gold standard that exists, to arrive at it. But change management skill is critical. Third, as I said, is domain uh, expertise. But after 10, 15 years of experience, nobody cares about your domain expertise. You are supposed to be good. If I'm good in performance management after 20 years of experience, nobody, pays a penny for this. Raj is supposed to be good at it. But if I'm as good as your CFO is when it comes to finance, or as good as your quality head is when it comes to, let's say, quality operations or Six Sigma, then people will stand up and take. Now, having said that, these are the so business acumen, change management ability. Third is domain, and in the middle is your design principle. You decide that 4 or 5 things that is part of your design principle or values. Now, having said that, then there are certain attributes that are critical for you to develop to go to next level, middle to top. So when we look at people at a senior level, we look at their ability to anticipate global trends that I touched upon. I also touched upon as a part of business acumen, P&L understanding, commercial savviness, pricing ability. Now, beyond that, your ability to mass motivate. Okay, so mass motivation is critical. So if I tell you there are 500 people who are who needs life in them, your ability to bring in life in them through your talk is critical to your success. So because in organization you will come across with many situations wherein things will not go in a desired manner, and then your ability to mass motivate come into play as a leader. Positivity in chaos, ability to deal with ambiguity, nose for talent, coaching and mentoring skills, par excellence presentation skills, empathy, these agility, business agility. These are some of the skill set that are critical irrespective of the domain you work in. So these are one should start focusing on developing that skill set. So when you say I'm good in business acumen, now do you understand what business acumen is all about? How your organization is making money, how the contribution margins is getting calculated, how the EBIT is coming into play, and what are the challenges? Uh, so anticipating that, like somebody asked me a question, a blue chip CEO, and says, where should I set up a company? I want to expand it by 10,000 people. What should be my answer? Unless I understand the global world, not only its economics, but their politics also, because that provides a stability. Now, learning that geopolitics and 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 global business is something which needs a lot of attention to. So you need to understand, from a larger perspective. For example, one of the perspective is that uh, IT industry is very big. So developing perspective is critical. So some people say it's an ocean. It employs roughly 4.5 million people. $200 billion industry it is. But if you look at it from a larger perspective, India's GDP is around 3 trillion. IT industry is roughly 6 to 7% of that. Within 6 to 7%, uh, you know, is it going to be an ocean? So we need to develop those perspectives. Uh, when you look at, larger, we at some point in time, we heard about Greece, Grexit is what we were saying. Now, if you look
Yes,
at Greece,
yes, yes.
and one of our neighbor, put together, their revenue size or GDP would be less than, Walmarts of the world. Or so you need to see it in a larger context and perspective. If you look at your demographics in Uttar Pradesh, which would be more or less equivalent to Europe, plus minus, right? And Europe will have roughly 30 odd countries within that. So understanding the global scenario becomes critical, because if something happens to China tomorrow and their growth decelerate, or something happens to America and their growth decelerate, and India grows by 10%, does it make a difference to the world? Not really. We are just, out of 75, 80 odd trillion world economy, we are minuscule. But if America grows by 1%, or China combined, which is roughly 40 to 45% of the world economy, then it makes a huge difference to the world.
Absolutely.
And that's where, if something happens to these biggies, if they sneeze, that the world take note of that. So you need to start thinking broadly from those directional standpoint. So it should not so happen that you have no clue about business, you do not have a clue about finances, and then you want to become a leader, right? So leaders in future would be those who would have followers. As I said again, command respect because of disposition rather than position. Right? So these are the skill set.
Absolutely.
So,
And yeah.
yeah. So this model, remember that I'm repeating that: business acumen, change management ability, third is domain expertise, and in the middle is your design principle or values.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent model. How many of you got it, guys? How many of you have an aha moment to understand this, what Raj has taught us in just 10 minutes? He has given you the entire career map, actually, if you look at it. Yes? How many of you have an aha moment? Because now you will understand. I think in many occasions, I have always asked you guys to look at the big picture rather than simply looking at your functional expertise, right? The big picture is far more important compared to what you're looking at as your narrow role. How can I grow? What skill I need to develop? All these are very, very minor question compared to when the organization is looking from the top, the leadership is looking from the top. They look at this aspect, that what kind of leadership that we have developed. Okay. They are not looking at whether you have got the AI ML certificate or not. Whether you have impacted the AI ML business or not, that is more important. Yeah. Whether you could actually impact those people who are doing the AI ML, that is more important than whether you got this AI ML certificate. Because Raj, what we have understood is the people in the mid-level now have actually are in the competition that who gets the first certificates. Okay. So who will get more certificates, they will be actually recognized in the office, which for me is still not digestible. The reason is very, very simple. I have always understood that if any certificate doesn't change the current reality, is just a piece of paper. What do you think about it?
I think certification knowledge, I call it knowledge is Google. So how do you convert that knowledge into wisdom is critical to your success.
System is
So,
critical.
right.
Absolutely.
So that's my short answer to your long question.
And people want to understand more on the design principle part of it, which is the
Okay.
center and the heart of everything. So what do we actually understand and learn from that perspective?
Okay. So every organization where we have worked, they will have their own value set, right? But we, as a leader, as an individual person, we should create our own value set or design principle. For example, I will share with you my design principle. So what I learned, and that came to me from my parents, coming through a very modest background. So one of the design principle is, if you cannot do good, never do bad. So किसी का भला नहीं कर सकते तो बुरा भी मत कर. So there are a lot of situation comes in corporate scenario wherein you feel anxious, you feel a little bit uh, anxiety comes into play or anger comes into play, but these design principles helps you stay course. Second, uh, which I got from my parents is that niyat kabhi kharab nahi karenge. So there are situations that will come in that will possibly look profitable in a short term, or maybe a shortcut to success, but you need to make sure that you're not letting it go. So you don't need to let it uh, you know
Overpower you.
overpower you. For example, I come across various situations wherein when I'm speaking or going to the colleges, etc., they'll say, sir, why don't you take money? And they will just thrust some money in my hand, and I'll say, no, I cannot take it, it is my design principle. And then they will say, you take it in your other somebody else's name and all that. I said, one person who knows the truth is me and my God. So there's no point. So you need to understand, you should not think that other people do it, let them do it. It's your design principle, right? Third, you need to figure it out. Like I said, these are two. Third, my design principle was which came to me, that if you are running 10 rupees, 7 rupees you spend, 3 rupees you save for future.
Yeah.
That also came as a design principle. So you need to these will differ from people to people, right? Integrity is another one, right? So how do you inculcate in you and your surroundings becomes critical, right? And it is not that you have to say it, your kids needs to see it. You walking the talk, uh, rather than just giving
Yeah.
those arguments that you should be having this design principle. So you need to figure out, like anything that I do, can I go confidently and look into my mother's eyes? Is a simple definition of integrity for me. So you need to create your own definitions in life. Don't look at what Rakesh is saying or Raj is saying. You should create your own definition of what leadership is. Like when I think of leadership, my definition is very clear. Leadership is an art to get the things done what you want to get done because others want to do it. Let me repeat it. Leadership is an art to get the things done what you want to get done because others want to do it. Now creating that want in others is a leadership. So these are 2 3 design principles that have come naturally over a period of time through my parents. And I'll give you another example of this niyat, or that greed. So we were very modest, and at some point in time, I think when I was in 10th or 12th standard, I used to work, and I went for collecting somebody's payment, and I would have got some 1 rupee or 2 rupee for that. It's a long time back, for hour that I was spending. I found a bundle of note somewhere around Uttar Pradesh, where I was traveling to, and And there was a man who was going ahead of me, and I said, "Uncle, your bundle has dropped." So this was a big bundle. And when I came home, I told my family. So my mother said, "How did you know? It was
Bundle is
that
from
person
that
money."
person.
And my father said, "इसको ये बात तो मालूम थी कि इसका नहीं है."
Okay.
He knows one thing, that this is not his money, right? So he said, "बेटा बहुत अच्छा किया. No need to get into details. इसको ये तो मालूम था कि इसका नहीं है." And so he praised me that day. Now for somebody, for whom to see that $100 rupee note is a luxury, and see a bundle of it, and the parents are saying, बहुत अच्छा किया. Right? So this is how this is built up over a period of time. And then you come across various other situations wherein your kid will come through. Like somebody will pay you more in shops. Like somebody gave me, thinking I have given them $500. So change of 100. And I gave 100. So he was supposed to give me back 20, but give 420. And I said, I returned it. And my kid was saying, he's such a bad guy. He always doesn't treat people. Why did you return his money? I said, oh, that's a bhool chuk, So this is how kids also learn over a period of time. So somebody will not charge you when you are painting your house and all that, and it's 2,000, 3,000 bucks. So that's where this comes in. Okay, he has not charged me. You have paid for 12,000. You go back to the shopkeeper. You stand there for 15 minutes. Says, boss, aapne kam charge kiya. So, I owe you 2,000 more. So that inculcate that value system in your children automatically. So that's what I mean when I say, that design principle you need to create around yourself. And another key point of design principle which I got from my parent is, if you have been given a position, and if you can help, don't think about what you are getting in return. So वो अपने भाषा में दूसरे तरीके से समझाते थे कि नेकी कर और कुएं में डाल. You don't have to think कि what you are getting in return. If you have got a position, help people out, whosoever it is. Right? And fifth design principle he gave me: keep your hands like this, not like this. Right? So cut your coats according to your clothes. Right? So don't create liabilities in your life. So if you cut your coat according to your cloth, you may not create too many liabilities. Life would be better off. So I think your design principle would have come through the context that you have been born and brought up with. You kind of spend 5, 7, 10 minutes or an hour or two and write them down, so that you do not move away from them. Like my children will say, everybody is crossing the light, at least in local sector areas. I said, it's fine, let them do it. But you have taken a call that you would abide by the law. Then you stand there for a minute. Because you will only, follow the law if somebody is watching. Because if policeman is standing there, then you will not cross. Right? So think that's a design principle. I will abide by the law, whether somebody is watching me or not watching. So this is what design principle is all about in nutshell, in my view.
Sure. Thank you very much. I think this as we always learn in a different way, and what we have done in the while during the profession, we have more or less put these core values of the company. We generally put the core values. We are taught these core values of the company in the orientation. But most of us, we put our own self core values aside when we are working. And we are taking, if we actually follow your model of this, which is having the business acumen, which is having the change management, and definitely the domain expertise with the core value at the heart, I think it will create the wonders for each one of us. And thank you for sharing this wonderful model, right? And I think only one question which is coming, and we are already on the top of the hour, but the one question which is coming up is, when we are seeing that, is it going to be an end of the permanent jobs now, or is it something which we can expect that it will still remain?
Nothing is permanent. Nothing is going away. We should not worry about it. When calculator came in, people thought, life will change. Then computer came in. Now ML, AI, all has come in. So nothing is going to change. There would be shift in types of job that we do. Like some of the people, you would be surprised. A few days back, this pre-COVID scenario I am talking about. He said, "I am going with my friend." I said, "Where are you going?" "I am going to a restaurant." I said, "Take money." He said, "No, don't worry about money. She's a food blogger, and they will treat us lavishly, and then we'll take few photos and put it across. And she is being paid for that also." So have we ever thought in our life that somebody will, in a kind of five-starish kind of a scenario, uh, give us free food, and make sure that we are served well? We'll click few photographs, paid, we'll get money also for that. If you look at Insta with this young generation, some of the people, they are doing um, um, this cloth marketing or this marketing. Those jobs never
Yeah,
existed
yeah,
in the past. Food blogger, travel
absolutely.
blogger. So new types of jobs are coming in. A lot of people are turning entrepreneur, and that mindset is also shifting. That instead of becoming an employee, let's become employer. So this generation, 2000, post 2000 onwards, they have a very different mindset. They are not playing with the rules, that was set earlier, because rules of the game itself are changing.
Right. And actually, one question with relation to that, Raj, because when we look at our generation, we have abided by the rules, and we have come to this stage where we are seeing the two different generation, which is, one is the completely ignorant of the laws, the other is completely adhering to the laws. We are kind of in between. But when we talk about our future generation, when they will be believing in the gig economy, freedom, entrepreneurship, and all this, do you feel that there are some principles that still need to be taught, which only come by the experience and not come by the instant gratification that people are chasing right now? I mean, it is a question not mentioned in the question answer, but it just came to my mind. So I'm thinking from my generation. Let's say my son is 10-year-old. When he turns graduate, I know for sure that he will be least interested in doing the job, first part. He will say that I can actually do this, travel blogging, this, and I'll probably learn it and he have the good money as well. But will that be also, keeping them away from the real upbringing that we have gone through as generation? Let's say, put in generation X, that what we have gone through based on the core values that you have received from your parents or I have received from my parents. Will they actually not follow any of them, or will they actually be remaining on that instant gratification mode for long time? I mean,
I
just a
think,
point of view. I'm sure
yeah,
nobody has the right answers.
I think in my view, learning agility amongst this new generation is very high, and they care a shit about what you say, but they care about what you do. So while you are having a drink and telling and giving sermons that drinking is bad, it's not going to work. So this generation believes in, your
Action.
say do ratio, irrespective of
Yeah.
who you are, whether you are a father or mother. They will confront you, they will ask you
Correct.
questions. It's not like
Correct.
one way traffic. So uh, this generation, I think we need to let them make their own choice. which is not easy as a parent. Uh, and as a we need to learn to let go of that unconscious bias, because at time new laws has come into play. There's a lot of talk about DNI, LGBT. Now our own mindset, has it shifted? Because at the most I would think, let this my boy make a choice. But if we make a choice which is not in line with my conventional standard, will I be fine? Right? So we have to look at our own unconscious biases that exist,
Agree.
because we know this is not good, that is not good. But what does that mean? This is our bias. So let them make their own rules in the life, because today's teenagers are equivalent to our adolescents, and adolescents are already mature. So give them a freedom, let them create their own regrets, if they are to be regrets, and learn from. So we need to let go, uh, and make them make their own decisions, and we need to make sure that we make peace with it, as parents, as you said, because otherwise it's going to create a lot of trouble for us.
Yes. I,
uh,
I, I'm already experiencing
Heartburn,
it.
lot of heartburn. So be their friend, facilitate, and walk the talk. Only say what you do, and do what you say. With your children, they will
Agree.
point it out. And similarly, it will reflect in the corporate world, unless you understand, because the behavior of your child when he goes to office is not going to be very different, right? Of
True.
course, there would be a paycheck, there would be a boss, but that quest will remain there. So they will only respect leaders who will command respect because of disposition, not because
Correct.
somebody is a assistant manager, deputy general
Assistant.
manager. Uh, so those are my thoughts on that, Rakesh.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Raj. I think it was worth spending this 1 hour. We didn't realize that we are already on top of the hour. Guys, how many of you liked this conversation? Did it answer all your questions? I have tried to summarize all the question in one sentences so that we can give Raj the real time and help him also give answers to you. Okay, I want to choose only one or two people who can ask the question, but it has to be different than what we have already asked. Who wants to ask? Who wants to ask question? Only one or two people, but it has to be different than what we have discussed. Who wants to take challenge? HR को challenge कौन करेगा? Anybody in the group? Any brave, bold who wants to have any question that I have missed, guys? Those who have typed. I think one was more of a role related question, Raj, which I skipped. That is a person who is having a typical experience in one industry, in a typical role, let's say a EA role or so, and EA to CFO, CEO. How should one actually go about in future profile? Because neither it is a rule based, neither it is a technology based role. It is more of an assistant kind of role, which had kind of gone into now, I would say, extinction to a large extent because of the digital economy. So how one can create a profile out of that? Because till this point time, that role was existing. Now we are seeing that that role will diminish over a period of time. So what kind of profile that can actually be helpful?
I think anything, when you look at, in my view, it should be tied to your passion. So when I started way back, 20, 25 years back, uh, I started right after my graduation, and I was a stenographer. So then I realized, and at that point in time, computer was not there. So it was more of
Yes.
typewriting,
Type
right? So
typewriting.
your CEO or other people, they will dictate, then you will type, they will make correction,
Yes.
then you will redo and all that kind of stuff. At some point
Correct.
in time,
I have done that.
I realized, will I enjoyed it at the age of 40? So I think I was 20 at that point in time. So 2021. So you need to figure out your passion, because some of these roles which will go away, that you think will go away, you need to identify your passion, and that passion will differ from person to person, context to context.
Absolutely.
Some people will need to bring food on the table, so their urgency would be very different from those who do not need to bring food on the table, right? And their motivations are very different. So unless you understand individual context, any off the shelf solution will not work. But
Agree.
since you have worked in that role, there are essential skill set. You need to take cognizance of that, outline the core strength that you have developed, and then see where your those strengths that you have developed over a period of whatever number of years of experience you have could be translated into, right? So if you're good in solving problems, if you're good in counseling, there are a hell lot of opportunities are there which were earlier unheard of.
Not that.
So you can get into uh, this. Mental health is going to be a big area.
Yes.
Stress
Yes.
management, mental health. uh, 20 years back, 30 years back, people were staying with a family, right? So somebody would have given advice in the larger family space. Uh, but now there is a families are small families are there, single families are there. Now they need to go to some of this helppreneurs or whatever we want to call them. So there are a hell lot of opportunities which are emerging: coaching, mentoring, guiding, mental health is a big area. Counseling. So figure that out. What are your top five core strengths that you have built, and then take it forward accordingly. And if you can create
Absolutely.
money out of your passion, and somebody is ready to pay for it, nothing like it.
Absolutely. And fortunately, I mean, in the entire spectrum of services that we do, especially me being, I have turned the same thing into my profession now. That I was passionate about the coaching and the mentoring people. That's what I've turned as an entrepreneur. I was just like a corporate professional. I would have been asking you the question on the other side of the table. But now I am asking and answering all those questions which these professionals are asking me. And that was my small efforts to actually bring you in as an industry expert and bring your values, insight, and the knowledge to these people so that they can actually get the best out of it. I think few people are watching in the YouTube, few people are here, and we just on behalf of the entire community, we would just like to say we are privileged and honored to have you, Raj, and thank you very much for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and the more important, the models that you have created for yourself and the values that you are carrying. I mean, we are truly privileged to have you here.
So thank you. I think it was an honor and privilege for me also to have this interface. This was a wonderful set of questions that you asked, which went beyond the realm of corporate and came into your value or design principle. And any one
Absolutely.
of you in your network or need any assistance support, I'm available on LinkedIn. And
Absolutely.
some of you who want to look at this middle management stuff, I have talked about those 25 odd principles in my book called Caterpillar to Catalyst.
Yes,
So
I'm just
feel
sharing that link to people right now.
right. So and there are few hundred articles. Like I talk about some of the managerial effectiveness related stuff. It's available on LinkedIn or my website hrsuccessmantra.com. So feel free to talk to me, write to me if I could be of any assistance to any one of you in the network. And I wish you all the success. Stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Raj, and really, really grateful for your time. And we are really, really, I would say, grateful for your time, given that you've given a lot of context to this entire middle management now. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank you
much,
so much.
guys.
Thank you, Rakesh.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Are you guys there? You are living. Wait, hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay. Okay. Those who have actually looked at the link, I am just posting the link for the books. Raj has written, I think, 5 to 6 books. If you want to just learn more about him, please follow this link and also use the book that if you feel it is useful for you in the mid management. He has been actually guiding a lot of people. Definitely on the pro bono side, he's working in TCS right now. Okay, and having more than 25 years of experience, he's into HR operations, and that's where he brings in a lot of insights globally as well. I hope this session was useful to all of you. I wanted to share the surprise with you, but it seems to me that a lot of people have already left. So what we will do is we will be covering this in a new fresh session where you are not tired. Okay. So wish you all a very, very happy Independence Day. I got a chance to actually see you all and wish you in person to all of you. So wish you all a very, very happy Independence Day. And enjoy your weekend and let's catch up again. Okay. By next week, we'll catch up again. Thank you very much, guys. God bless you, all of you. And do share your experience in the group, Telegram group, please. Do share your feedback.